Back live. All right. Welcome to XRL X2 round 12, Hungary. Uh, short quali today, I believe. Yep. Short quali. Short lobby or small lobby. Here with Mantic instead of Hayes for this week. Hayes is doing some other stuff. Go on, Mantic. Give him a wave. Come on. Gotta hear your
Oh
voice.
yeah, hello, hello. I thought you were still talking.
No, just introducing for now. I think we're getting going. It's 12 o'clock. We should be going in a couple of seconds. Maybe we're waiting on somebody late. Uh, I think all of our title rivals are here except Harry. It's between Wayne, Zola, and Irons for the title this season. I don't know where Harry's at, but he is in the mix as well. As he shows up, there's about 6 races left, and about 10 points separating the entire top four in the championship. So it might go down right to the wire. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who you got your money on? Who you got your money on, Mantic? Who do you want to win the championship?
Oh, I don't know. The person that finishes top, probably, I imagine.
Yeah,
Um,
sounds about right. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the guy at the top at the end of it.
yeah, it's a bit more of a battle than X1, put it that way.
X1, people didn't show up in the middle. A lot of people at the top didn't show up in the middle, so it kind of
Yeah,
got right away with just a little bit.
yeah, definitely a lot more interested in X2.
I'll tell you what, if Irons manages to win this championship without a single win to his name, he should get GOAT status. That's all I gotta say.
It's quite impressive to be fair.
I don't think he's had a single win yet.
I know Zola
That's
joined, I think he was X1 at the beginning of the season and then moved down to X2 at some point in the season. So I think he's done fairly well if no points were carried over.
Yeah, Zola's done really well.
Ah,
Yeah,
this is he.
I got my money on Irons. I hope he gets it without a win the entire season.
Fair enough. And fairly close in the top two as well in constructors with McLaren on 206 and Ferrari on 190.
Who
Although
are the
it
McLaren
seems
drivers again?
there's only one at the minute, I believe, in
This should have been
X2.
Flavored left. I think he hasn't shown up for a couple of races so far. I don't know where he's been, but I remember he was a
Yeah.
McLaren driver.
It's Wayne at the minute.
Yeah, it's just fine. So Flavor's gone. I forgot when he disappeared.
Think it was a few weeks ago he left.
Who's gonna have pacer? I know Edgar used to be in this league. Let's get a weather check from someone in chat. Yeah. I don't know who's gonna have pace here. This is a very different track. A lot of corners, similar to Monaco. Not much straights. Not much short corners like flicks. Just the middle sector. A lot of long corners. It's all about who has the cornering speed here. Let's take a look at tires. What strategy? Just waiting on a weather check real quick. And somebody to go on the track. Remix, so does he have a quali ban? I think that was only Windex and somebody else with quali
Might be
bans.
might be Remisco because they've already retired.
I'm seeing Boothie saying rain in general chat. Or X2 Lounge.
Um,
Remix, so yep, did have a quali ban by the looks of things.
Full wet
Full
race.
wet race. Oh my lord. Oh dear.
Mm.
That is either pure chaos or absolute god tier racing, and I have no idea.
So is it Jaleb or Zola who's going to bowl everyone into turn one then? Because they're the Mercedes drivers today.
I got my money on Jeff, old man Jeff. Go missing breaking point.
Oh, missing the breaking point. Sure, Zola will appreciate people not doing that after I did that one season in Miami.
Oh man, no, you weren't even the worst one. That was Imply for the race win. That was outrageous what Imply did there on X2 back in Miami. For his
Yeah,
short time
but
he was in here.
yeah. Ooh.
Yeah. Although you have been on a bit of a tear in X1, I will say it's not been as bad as implied by the looks of things. Implied
Yeah.
couldn't go at least 10 laps without hitting somebody, it seemed, at times.
Also, we've got Irons is currently having internet issues, so may retire. Well, I've got a quali ban anyway, and if it's not sorted, we could see him retire in the pit lane.
Oof. Oh dear. Just when it rains, it pours, it would seem, and it's not stopping anytime soon. It just keeps getting worse as the season goes on for Irons.
So it's going to
go ahead.
be Liam to complete a lap first as he rounds the first corner.
Liam, he's been a bit unnoticed since the start of the season. Back in Bahrain, he had the pace to stick with his team at Irons. He's fallen down to P5 in the standings, behind the rest of the lot, about 25 odd points off the front guys at the top of the championship. I wonder what happened to him. Maybe just missed a couple races, or just, I don't know, if pace fell off on some of the tracks, but he's been having a little bit of a dry stint as things stand.
Yeah, I know he's definitely was an X1 last season, but he just kept getting quite unlucky. So I think he's moved on this season to see how he is. But I do believe he has missed a few races this season, which is probably why he's a bit behind.
He was looking strong in Azerbaijan and Bahrain back when we started the season, but it all just unraveled a little bit, and so has it for his teammates. A little bit surprising they're still on top of the championship in both regards after all the misfortune they've had this season, but that shows their resilience. Let's say an 18-1 for Shikari. Good lap. Strong banker for him. Next across the line is the Mercedes of... Was it Zola? No, it's not lap. It's his teammate Zola also on that lap.
Lowe was on a lap, but seems to have abandoned. So it'll be Boofy next to set a lap, it seems.
He's charging battery. He's backed out as well. What about Edgar? Is he still pushing? Yeah, Edgar's still on it. Edgar, I did receive word that he was one of the top contenders in X2 for he took a little hiatus. Last one in Canada. From Hayes, who's telling me his X1 pace before, of course, he went off in the corner. And so I couldn't help myself but break my composure. It was a bit unfortunate time for Hayes, but let's see what pace is. 17-2. Ooh, that's strong. The second clear of Shikari. Shikari is not a slow driver, so yep. Maybe Hayes had a point. That's a very strong lap from him.
Yeah, and Boofy seems to have kind of set a lap in a way, but with it being 2 seconds off, I doubt it was a particularly big push lap by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah. It'd be a shame because we've seen the pace that Harry's had. He's the only one since Moist to do a three-peat. I think it was a two-peat or three-peat, I forget which, but he's been on a tear as well in a good sense in X2. I don't know where he's at today, maybe just missing out for some personal things. But I'd like to see where he stacks up against Edgar when the time comes, maybe in the later race. But no, spectating Lowe is coming to the third sector now. It's looking alright. Lowe's always a smooth driver. Needs to start pushing the car a little more and he'll be up there with the top guys, in my opinion. Top guys of X2. Maybe something to look out for next season.
Yes. And
Cross the line.
17-4.
Lowe's at 17-8. Good enough for top 3 so far. Of all the runners, next to the line looks like the Alpine Acosta Jet who's invalidated. Behind him, the Mercedes Azola entering sector 2. Deploying battery, no, charging battery. So, by the looks of it, next to the line will probably be Wayne, who's not pushing either, invalidated. So we'll spectate Zola. We'll see if he's going for it. He's going for it. He's back on battery. Maybe just a bit of a lapse of judgment from me.
Yeah, he's so he comes around the final corner on the mediums though, so probably not going to be top of the list, but you never know. No, it's 17-9.
That's quick. He'll be up there with Edgar at the soft transfer if he gets a lap hooked up. Next is Wayne on the mediums. He's been strong in qualifying, but And of course, invalidated. We'll see if he goes again. I'll let him order them. We'll see if he decides to go for a second lap or if he balkers to go for a sauce. Nope, he's going again.
Got 2 laps of fuel might as well.
Yep. Got the better port, he's going for it. We'll go on board with him, one of our top guys in X2. We'll see what he's got for us here, what type of pace he's packed in store. Slowly on turn 1. Maybe got offline just a little bit. Through turn 2. A bit wide, drag it back for a good exit though. Nice and smooth on the traction. This is one of the hardest corners up here to get right. Blind on turning. If you touch the curb too much, you will just get shot off the edge of the track. Good line though. Perfect line actually to this corner. You have to get very close to that right hand curb, but it will spin if you touch it. He keeps it good though. A little bit conservative, I will say. Not really pushing it to the limits, but that's what you need in Q1. No one to be eliminated. It's short quality though actually. Maybe something about that banker lap. Through sector 2, looking nice and hooked up, a bit narrow on there, but he's getting enough banker up in the mirrors. Of course, not pushing out all the way, breaking just for the curb here. Onto that inside curve, just a little bit, good traction, very, very smooth lap from Wayne here actually. Goes a bit wide, they're a bit deep, maybe starting to turn in. Upshifting, he lost a bit of revs, but now final corner, drag it back to the apex, good exit. What are we looking at now? Coming to the line, it's a 17.3, good lap on the medium. It's only about a 10th behind Edgar, less than a 10th.
Yeah, it looks very like strong. He definitely be up there towards the end.
Very strong lap from him. I want to see him on the softs. Maybe he gets into the mid-16s.
Quite possibly, and it looks like the next set of lap, I believe, is Boofy's just started his lap.
Yep, on the sauce. And with a bit more push this time. Ooh, very squirrely off of turn 1. A lot more than Wayne was. Ooh, very squirrely. Boothie maybe struggling with the car a bit. I've seen him twitch a lot throughout that first sector. And he invalidates going into the second sector, so yeah, maybe he's struggling a bit with the tire grip here. Maybe with just the setup overall, but maybe we'll see him set a stronger lap come for his third run.
Quite a slippery track, to be fair, around here. It's easy to make mistakes.
Offline is rough. The marbles do pick up a lot, just like real life. It's very tough to find any sort of grip when you go slightly offline, and it's especially worse in the rain, and we're respecting a full wet race today by the looks of the weather reports.
Yes. So next set in a lap, I believe, is it low? I believe. No.
No, I think it's Shikari. I'm on board Shikari. He's on the push lap. He's the only one in the third sector from what I can see so far.
Yeah, it's Liam followed by Constant Jet.
8/10 up on his time with those softs, and we'll put him into a high 18. We'll see if what he has in the third sector, maybe there's some more left in it. But Shikari, really, I don't know what's happened to him, because I really expect him to be up there with Irons still. I thought he had the pace at the start of the season. I thought he'd be up there with Irons. Of course, we have no idea where Irons is at in terms of pace. Having some internet issues, but he goes fastest, actually. I was looking at Boothie's time. My fault. I was looking at Boothie's 19.9 thinking that was Shikari's time. So he does still have the pace, and Irons retires. Maybe that's the internet issues really just... Oh, no, he did have a quality ban. I forgot about that.
Yeah. And
we'll see what he...
118.4.
We'll see what type of pace Irons has in the race, but for now, Shikari holding it down for Ferrari goes to the top of the timing tables. Provisional pole, 6 minutes remaining on a lap with Zola. He started his push lap into sector 1 so far. See what his timings are saying. How far up or down is he? He's 1/10 in the good, improving. It's looking. I have seen people playing it very conservative with the risky corners here, but that's regain all the time. They just don't want to make that mistake and throw a tire set away. The tire wear is very high. That does play a lot in the strategy with the wet race. I don't think we'll see too much difference in strategy. They might all be running nigh the same thing.
Yeah, but in the rain, it's bit more difficult to have different strategies unless, of course, you can try and nurse the car and just do a zero stop strategy, which I've only ever seen
Not
once.
here. Not here at Hungary, I'll tell you.
No,
The tire wear is way too high for that.
definitely.
17-1 for Zola. Good lap. He found a lot in that third sector. Found over 6/10, I believe. Didn't check his second sector. That third sector very strong for him. Provisional pole for Zola now. Next to the line is the Williams of Lowe, who is on a push lap.
Yes,
Not
and then followed by
invalidated.
Edgar.
Yep. The line it doesn't. He does improve, but doesn't improve his position. Edgar coming to the line now, coming out of sector 3. What's the time saying? 2/10 up on his time, 2 cents down on his time. Actually, now he's just flipped around. Maybe made a bit of a mistake somewhere in the lap that we didn't see. As we're getting into the final run territory, 5 minutes remaining, and he goes for the box. He knows he's got one more chance to get a lap out of the way. Next on the lap, who is it? Looks like a McLaren of Wayne again, going to start his lap. Nope, it's the Haas of Boothie actually. Boothie starts his lap now. He's been struggling a bit with track limits. We'll see what he has. Just needs one clean lap, and he's looped it. And he's looped it off of turn 1. We seen him struggle last time out too. He's looped it. He's to keep out of the way of the McLaren coming soon. He goes off track. He gets out of the way, I believe. Wayne coming through turn 1. We'll see what he has now. This time saw him struggle out. Last time out in turn 1. Very smooth this time. Boothie just ahead. Gonna move out of the way for him, presumably.
And Lowe's out of fuel in sector 3.
Oh, hello, Boothie. Very close. Oh my, Wayne's a 10.5 up on his time. Just spectating Wayne there, and Wayne nearly went to the back of Boothie. I think Boothie stopped just a little bit too close, and it looks like Wayne has backed off. Wayne maybe not happy with how his lap was panning out, but we did see Boothie not nearly stop at the end of the turn, but it was all fine. No contact made. Further behind, anyone in the push lap? No, they're all in the pits. His final run is coming soon. Rush hour is about to come soon. J-Lebs looks like the first to take to the track with the Alfa Romeo of Edgar behind him.
Looks like Jeff is coming out of the pits now to start his outlap, and so is Edgar.
We're into final run territory. It's about to be rush hour. Everyone's going to come out nearly at the same time.
Yeah,
Wayne goes into the pits.
Yeah, and Boothie starts a lap.
So Edgar is going to be the first one to start his final lap. I think Boothie's on a lap, as you were saying. We'll spectate him. Yep, he is. He's going again. After he looped it off of turn 1, he's decided not to box. Oh, and he's looped it again! It's going to be a big crash! Oh my. Very lucky not to DNF there. Oh my. Big loop from Boothie.
No damage at all as well. That is interesting. Lucky
Very
is
lucky
definitely
boy.
lucky.
I'll tell you what, doesn't want to do that in the race, though. That was a big hit. Riding back on board with Edgar now. We'll see what he has for us. Running P3 right now. Needs about a 10.5 to claim pole off of Zola's hands. Through turn 1. Very smooth, onto the curb a little bit. Into turn 2 now. Gets it nice and close to that inside curb. Cuts back for that exit through here. Don't want to loop it like Boothie did a second ago. Keeps it good. Come to the timing line now. He is a 10.5 up on his time. He's got the pace for it. Just needs to keep the rest of the lap somewhat pace worthy, and he'll have a provisional pole position coming to sector 2 now, into the big part of sector 2. See if he hooks it up nicely onto the curves. That's it nice and down on there. Keeps it in 5th to find a bit of understeer in that gear, but it's looking good for him so far still. Onto the curve. Doesn't loop, but that curve can be very lethal. 4/10 up on his time. He's absolutely flying into sector 2. We'll see if he can keep it 4 here. Doesn't need to invalidate now. He's got all the pace in the world. Into the penultimate corner. It's looking good still. And into the final corner now. Coming round to the line now, traction on. DRS flips open here and to the line. He's going to set a 16.5, massive time for him. J-Leb behind, what is he improving on? He looks not like he's improving enough. Coming to the line now, flicks that DRS open to the line, and there goes a 16.5. He's in a 17.2 to the line behind him is his teammate, I believe. Wayne starting a lap, we'll ride on board with him, I believe. I don't think anyone else is on a lap just yet. Wayne starting his lap, J-Leb gets out the way.
Yeah, Liam looks like he was on a lap, but had abandoned it.
It does look like he's going a bit slow. We'll check his battery. Yep, he's abandoned it. We'll ride on board with Wayne for the rest of his lap then. But Edgar, 16.5, massive time there.
Wayne 2/10 up in the first sector.
Oof, you can see him pushing now. He's going very squarely into that chicane. Going to the timing line now of sector 2. Doesn't invalidate there. 3/10, is that enough? Not quite. Needs to find it all in sector 3 if he wants to get pole off of Edgar's hands.
Yeah,
and that is qualifying done.
Gonna need half a second in the last sector, I think, to snatch pole here.
We'll see, can he do it? Coming to the line now. There goes the 16s and 16.7, not quite good enough. Can Zola say anything about it though? Coming to hit the end of his lap now. Into the penultimate corner. It's looking nice and hooked up. Final corner now. Coming to the line. Does Zola have it? We're into the 15s by the line. I don't think he does. He does not. Into the 17.1s, and he remains P3. Shikari has invalidated his lap, and that is the end of qualifying. Edgar is on pole. It was a brilliant lap from him. Only one in the mid-16s. Wayne just barely, actually. Just barely avoids a high. 16.75 would have been a high at 16, but Edgar, no one could beat him today in qualifying. By over a 10th, he's going pole.
Yeah, and quali could be quite important here because with it being a wet race and how difficult it can be to overtake here, you could end up just staying in the same positions unless mistakes are made or wrong strategy calls are made.
And don't forget about penalties. This is a very penalty-heavy track.
Yes, track limits are normally not particularly respected here.
Yeah, usually we see a lot of drivers taking it a bit too much out of the track. But that's it. Edgar for Alfa Romeo gets a pole. I think that might be the first of their season. Alfa Romeo. Wayne P2, Zola P3, J-Leb P4 for the Mercedes. Double second row. Shikari for Ferrari gets smack dab middle for to pick up the pieces for Low, or for Irons who couldn't qualify. Low finishes out row 3. Constant Jet for Alpine P7, Boothie P8, and I believe from Mixo P9 with the qualifying ban as well.
Yes, and then Irons P10 or the other way around.
And there it is. There's the rain. 5-minute break. Get your water, get your snacks. Here we go. 5-minute break. We will get going. And we check the poll. We will get going at 12:27 Eastern. That should be about 5:27 BST.
Yes.
So who do you think's gonna win this race, Mantic? What are your predictions?
Ooh, well, like I say, it's difficult track to overtake on, and I think it could then just start going down to if you have penalties or make mistakes. Because don't get me wrong, if you can make some good moves into kind of turn 1 and down the straights, but I don't know. I think it could be interesting.
Well, we've seen them in the drive, but we haven't seen what they're like in the wet. This is a whole different ball game. We have no idea who's strong here and who isn't. I will say Edgar, with the pace he's been showing in quali, I feel like he might know just a little bit how to drive in the wet. So does Wayne. We've seen him be strong in wet conditions like Canada as well. I believe he was there at least. I don't quite remember if that was actually a wet race now I think about it. But I think as long as Edgar gets a good start off the line, he'll have it. It's a very difficult track to
Mm.
overtake on, especially with the wet part of the track you have to overtake on, providing less grip. It'll be hard to make moves. No DRS. So I think as long as Edgar gets a good start, it'll be pretty much said and done without a strategy error.
Yeah.
But you never know. Nothing ever goes to plan, especially in racing leagues.
No.
So this is a pretty big implication for the championship. The two championship rivals, Zola and Wayne, starting right beside each other, with the Irons got to come to the field in a pure wet race. This could get a bit spicy for the championship.
Yes, well, with Irons, it also depends if his internet sticks in, because if it's not been fixed, he might just have to retire in the pits and not be able to particularly participate in today's race.
I'll tell you what, Irons, if Moist is back in X2 driver lounge, just ask him to share some with you. I'll tell you that man has some of the fastest internet I've ever seen. It's ridiculous just how fast his internet is, but maybe just ask him to share some with you. He's got a lot to spare, I can guarantee you that. About a minute and a half until we go. Is formation lap on? I believe it is.
Yes, I believe it's been fixed, so it's back on again.
Prep laps are even more important when it comes to wet race because anyhow your tires are cold, you are not moving from that grid box until everyone else is into turn one already. So prep laps are very important in these conditions.
And it also depends on kind of the setups people have gone for, because people might have gone for kind of a mixed. They want a bit of dry speed, but also want some a good enough setup that they're not going to have to worry about anything in kind of with the wet weather. But then again, you sometimes have some people that just put on a full wet setup for the qualifying. Might not get the best qualifying result, but then can claw it back in the race because they've got a more designated wet setup.
I will say Hungary is already a high downforce track, so you don't need to do too much tweaks to the setup. Maybe a bit to the suspension for wet races, but I don't think you need to do too much. It's already nearly a max downforce track. Not too different from wet and dry condition setups, but you never know. So maybe some people do some more research than others. I know I don't.
I just know if it rains, I put some more, bring the wings up a bit and call it quits.
I think it's just about time. Yep, I got the word. We are going right now. Everyone's gonna ready up. About a 30-second to 40-second delay before the game puts us into the viewing screen. I wonder what the strategies are going to look like. I don't know how long the wet tires are going to last. I don't know if the rain intensity is going to decrease as we go on, but definitely full wets by the looks of things for now.
Yeah, I think the word was it's going to be a full wet race. So I think it's going to be full wets for the full race. So like you say, it just depends how long you can get the wet tires to go for, really.
And I think we're going to be brought to the screen any time now. Let me just make sure that that was the call in Discord, and it was. Nope, that was Zola actually. Herbie no show. So yep, not received the call just yet from JLab
No, it's
actually.
lobby restart, lobby restart.
And we're restarting the lobby. Okay, so yep, something did
Yep.
happen. So we're restarting. A bit of a delay.
Yeah, I've never seen anyone get wet tires the full length in any race, but once I managed to somehow Well, I did it once in Austin with the intermediates. That was certainly an interesting one.
I wonder what happened to the lobby. Maybe some sort of game bug.
With this game, probably we wouldn't be surprised, to be honest.
Yep. This game is broken. Oh, this game. There's nothing to compare it to. It's broken. It's the most broken game I think I've seen in a long while.
Yeah, so it seems the reason we've got this is there's a driver that can't get back into the lobby. So they need to remove the car from the grid. So they needed a restart, otherwise it would just be complete chaos. At the start of the race,
It seems when they break something, we're left asking when they fix something. It seems that we ask what did they break now instead of thank you for fixing things. Isn't that the glory of EA?
no. It's a bit like the FIFA games. All you hear is people complaining about bug after bug.
Yep. It's been abysmal. Hopefully, it's a little bit better, at least for F124. The game is still fun, but there's just a lot of bugs make league racing a bit hard sometimes.
At least the traction's a bit better this year.
It's the overall handling's nice, especially on a controller. It's a lot more reactive instead of delay, where the input delay.
Mm.
I think we're
The
just waiting for the
lobby,
lobby to be up.
the lobby's back up again.
I think it's Shikari that started it.
Yes, it is.
Alright. I think we're here now, waiting. We had about 10 people. I wonder if anyone else decides to join. And yep, it is full at race. I see the icon there. It's going to be a full at race the entire time. Full guarantee now.
Yeah, I think we've got just 9 drivers now rather than 10.
Is it Irons that's dipped or...
I'd imagine with the word about the internet connections, it
No, he's
probably
here.
is.
Irons is
Oh,
here. He just joined. He's here.
not sure then. Oh, well, we've got 10 drivers back, so maybe it was just a glitch where they couldn't get back in the game again, so we've just had to restart to make sure everyone's in their cars.
Possibly. I think they're going to set the grid now. We should be going within about 4 to 5 minutes.
Yeah, just need to give everyone time to put the setups back on. And I suppose, in a way, if you've done a kind of a setup in qualifying that isn't really meant for the race, I suppose theoretically there's nothing stopping you from changing your setup now when you get back on the grid. Or at least I don't think there's any rules on that, not that I'm aware of anyway.
Yeah, I think you're. Yeah, I don't think there is. You can change your setup if we get a live restart. I mean, they can't verify that you have it anyway. Not the FIA, and not everybody streams.
Yeah, I was gonna say it'd be quite a difficult one, I suppose, to police because even if everyone streamed, I suppose they might pause the stream because they don't want other people to see their setups anyway. So it'd definitely be a difficult one to enforce anyway.
That'd be a very difficult thing. Plus, I don't think people would want to have to watch everybody's stream, especially when you have drivers or lobbies with surplus 20 drivers. You won't have to go through 20 streams just to check setups. That sounds like a lot.
Yeah, and then when you're trying to then also give, if you have to dish out penalties and everything, it's all just a bit
A bit
much,
of
I
a nightmare.
suppose.
A logistics nightmare. I think we're getting going. I've seen Shikari already up. I think we're going anytime soon now.
Yes, we're gonna go at 38 past the hour.
So it's about 5 minutes time from now. I'll give everyone to select their setups and fix the strategies again. Hungary is a fuel burn track, so load up some fuel. Maybe in the rain it might not be as bad, but still, it's
Yeah,
not
you
great.
normally do. You do normally need a bit less fuel in the rain because obviously you've not got as much time on such high throttles.
But the acceleration zone is what murders your fuel count. There's a lot here, not many long straights, not many quick corners.
No, and I suppose theoretically there's a bit less of a risk of safety cars with less drivers. Although that's not to say there isn't going to be a safety car, but obviously there's just a bit.
Oh, there will.
Sure,
We
there
saw
will
Boothie
be.
have that. Yeah. We have that. We saw Boothie in the drive with that massive wet whack. This is full wet conditions. I would be astonished if we didn't have at least one VSC or safety car. That would deserve some sort of medal from me at least.
I'm sure. I'm sure we'll. Sure, we shall find out shortly.
3 minutes until we go. I think we're always taking a little bit of a little break before give them time to select all of their setups again. Gives me a bit of a focal break too.
Yes, we'll be going in about 3 minutes' time, I believe it is.
I still think Edgar can win this, even with the change in conditions. I still think, yeah, I still have all my money on him. I've been just thinking over who do I think wants to win the championship and stuff, all the championship relations, but I don't think anyone can challenge Edgar, even the championship contenders. As long as he gets that good start here in this weather, I don't think it's much of a contest without a safety car that screws him over.
Yeah.
We've been pinged.
Yeah, I just got a thing from Zola showing it's going to be full rain for the full race with all wet tyres for the duration.
I wonder how strong the two-stop is in the wet. So, did receive word from Zola. We had a lobby restart because people got kicked out of the lobby and could not rejoin back. So that's the reason for the restart. And just under a minute until we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really interested in that two-stop. We see the optional two-stop in the pictures all sent us. I wonder how strong it is in the wet. I know tire wear is very high here. Might be viable. Might be a viable strategy. Only time will tell.
I think it'll depend on the safety cars as well, because I suppose if there's multiple safety cars, I think a one-stop's going to be definitely the best option because you're not going to have as much wear on the tyres.
With a lower driver count, I don't think we'll see too many multitudes of safety cars. Maybe just about one, maybe two. But you never know. That's the beauty about racing. You never know what happens at any time.
Yeah, they just got the go-ahead, so shall be going very shortly here. I think the 30-second countdown has started for the formation lap.
Yep, I'm just waiting for that to tick down. There we go. And yep, formation lap is underway now. Get all the telemetry up on the screen. We'll look at the tires. Everyone wet tires, of course. You'd be a bit of a lunatic to not choose the wet tires in this condition.
Now we'll keep an eye on backfield for the start. But
Edgar
yeah,
is already flying away on his formation lap, not waiting around, even in pre-race. Oof.
I definitely think formation laps would definitely be different if I don't know if I know it was introduced last year, but they removed it where when you sat on the grid you just lose the temperature in the tyres, which is obviously what would happen if it was real life. And I wonder if that, if that did happen in the game, would it change people's kind of strategies? Would you see the leaders trying to run ahead more to try and get people to hurry up, or would you see the ones a bit further back kind of slow down so their tyres would kind of cool down for a chance to have a fight with them?
Well, if your tires would cool down when you got to the grid, I don't think the leaders would necessarily be trying to pull away, right? Their tires would start getting cold. Everyone behind starts pulling up to the grid, so I feel like we'd see a lot of the leaders backing people up, and the followers, like the back markers in this case, Irons would be all the way back, maybe just starting sector 2, maybe into the chicane just now at this point.
Yeah,
Just letting everyone start to cool down.
and I suppose it kind of depends on, I suppose, the dynamic of, say, there's a championship battle. One of the people have got pole, the other person, say, might have had a quali ban, so they're stone cold last. They might just try and slow down so the tyres cool down. But then I imagine if, kind of that was to happen, I think there'd probably be some rules set in about it saying you can't be X distance behind before you start getting kind of told off.
There's no one necessarily going slow. As everyone pulls up to the grid now, waiting on Iron to pull into his grid spot, and then we'll get going. He's pulling in now. And everyone there on the grid spots as we get set to go underway. 3 red lights, 4 red lights, 5, and... Oh, Boothie with the drive-through already. Boothie gets a drive-through off the start, but away we go. And Edgar, good start as I was expecting, as what he needed. J-Lab's up to P2 already. Good start from him. Down the inside, Wayne's taking a look. Does he have the grip for it? Gets squirrely. J-Lab holds on to P2. Further behind, Zola's going to try and get by Wayne now to hold on to his front row start. Zola down the inside, going to shove Dwight a bit wide, and he gets punted. His mass chaos in the middle of the pack. And that is Wayne all the way falling down the pack. Low is all the way down to P9 now. Shikari's into P4 with possible wing damage. Boothie holds P6, but he has that drive-through, and everything's kicking off already here.
It looks like everyone still has all of their cars intact as it stands. There's no damage from what I can see anyway on the cars.
I'm so surprised Wayne didn't fall even further down. He got pretty roughly punted in that corner there. So if I can go even further down the pack, Boothie's to serve his drive-through. So Irons is already technically up to P6 off that race start, starting 10th. He's making moves. Oh, he's on the grass though. Don't want to get too far there. Shikari, and he goes wide. He's off the track. It'll open the door for Boothie. And Wayne actually. Boothie goes wide as well. Wayne's going to try it around the outside. He gets him for the braking zone, but Wayne's wide too now. They're really struggling with these conditions.
Oh, and Irons also goes wide and has a bit of a snap and almost collects constant jet, but manages to keep it on. It looks like Boothie will go in to serve his drive-through penalty.
Wayne is back up to P4. He's not waiting around. Hunts after the Mercs now. It's Ferrari running 5-6 as well now. Wayne's in the middle of a team sandwich. He has both Mercedes ahead of him and both Ferraris behind him. Maybe a bit vulnerable. Low's in an Alpine sandwich. A lot of team playing further behind. We saw someone in the wall. It's Low. He lost the car. He has wing damage. He's missing end plates. He's missing his right end plate. Low has wing damage. He'll be boxing early. That won't help him. Oh, and off the track from Mixo into the grass. They're all losing it everywhere. They're really struggling with these conditions.
I think that was Constant Jet that had the snap, I believe.
Or Constant. It was Remixo or Constant. And Irons is... Yeah, that's the internet. He's been disconnected. Irons' internet has disconnected him. But Wayne is riding the back of Zola right now into the second sector. We'll see if he makes a move here soon.
Yeah, I think Wayne's just going to want to get this move done because the gap from Zola to Jeff is already 3.5 seconds. So Wayne's
So
going to
what,
have to
Jeff?
do some quite a big catch up to P2, and then even there's about just over a second gap between P2 and P1 as well.
I'll tell you what, for someone who didn't qualify too close to the pole time, Jeff has been keeping touch with Edgar. Edgar has not stretched away like I thought he would from Jeff. Jeff with that monstrous pace in the wet here. It looks like he's really enjoying these conditions. We'll see if Wayne decides to go for a move here, maybe let on the brakes. Nope, just bides his time, not looking for an aggressive move just yet. Irons reconnects back, and I think Zola's gone wide. That gives Wayne the run. Does he look for it around the outside? He has a dry line. He can break much later than Zola can. He looks for it around the outside. Zola keeps his car under control. Brilliant racing from Wayne. Gets ahead all the way around before they get to the exit of the corner. Brilliant move from Wayne. And he sets his sights after Jeff in P2.
And it looks like Constance let Ramis go through.
Yep.
Unless he's gone wide.
I think while we wait for Wayne to inevitably ride to the back of J-Lab at this pace, we'll look further behind at the midfield. I think it's going to get a little bit spicy between the teams. You have Alpine versus Ferrari right now, all the way down from P6 to 8. We'll see how they play this as some unknown spectator joins the lobby. Let him look at, he leaves.
Yeah, I don't think they could get in a car anyway, I believe so.
I wonder if things get a bit touch and go between the Ferraris. I wonder if they decide to play this strategically or if they fight it out. Of course, the Shikari not as far into the championship fight as Irons as he lets him through. As I'm saying that, Shikari lets Irons through.
It looked a bit like he went wide, but it could also just be that he's let him through, I suppose. With Irons first in the championship, it's all about trying to get Irons the maximum points possible here.
Yep. Let's see if Shikari can keep at the back of his team and maybe drag each other along with some slipstream all the way to the back of Zola. And Edgar has now pulled a 3.5 second gap away from J-Lab out front. And everything kind of settles down. This is a bit of the issue with the wet races. The gaps tend to open up with differing skills in wet racing. You tend to have a bit of a stale race come the middle.
I think Lowe might have some more damage because after pitting for a new wing last lap, he's come back into the pits. So I imagine probably some damage there. Let's see if I can have a look. Yeah, got a new wing fitted there in the pits.
Lowe did say he'd be driving angry this race, and that's not what you need in the wet. You need a bit of that precision control, not so much the aggression of dry racing, so it might be hurting him more than helping him now. We're not seeing many drivers use battery to try and catch up, and maybe irons, just a slight bit. Jeff has using some battery, not a lot though. Trying to catch up to the back of Zola. We'll see if he goes for a move here soon. Zola taking wide lines in and wide to get that good exit out. You see Iron struggling with a bit of understeer too, maybe not too comfortable with these conditions. And it's Wayne set the fastest lap, and Wayne is flying as well. Not too far away, can't make the move on to Zola, but he's late on the brakes, gets close to the back of him. Zola's been struggling to turn one. We saw Wayne do something similar to him last time. I went around the outside here. I think Irons is looking for it, but Zola defends well. Doesn't give Irons a good look at a move.
Looks like Roscoe and Shakiri are going to have a good battle here.
Oh my lord. Is Irons going to stretch around the outside? I think he backs out. Zola backs out of it. Doesn't want to go side by side to this corner. Zola made a bit of an error going onto that straight there. And Irons is up in the P4 now. All the top guys making moves, as I think Wayne is going to put J-Lub under pressure soon. That's further behind. Remixo still applying pressure to the lone Ferrari Shikari now. He's been left behind by his teammate, and he's gone over the chicane. He's got a bad exit through, and they're side by side in the middle sector. And I think they're gonna just about make it through. Shikari made a bit of contact with Remixo, very narrow part of the track, they're side by side. Good move from Remixo, they're very brave. He's gone through into P6, sets after Zola, who's been dropped off by Irons. Irons has set the sight after Wayne, who's about to make a move on J-Leb. Does he have him in the straight or will get him into the braking zone? We'll see.
It is a bit more difficult to overtake down the straight without obviously the assistance of DRS.
Ooh, and J-Leb's gone very wide indeed. He's on the AstroTurf. He won't get much grip there. Wayne having a look around the outside. Does J-Leb give him room? He does. Later on the brakes as well. Do we have him in the grip department? Can you get him outside as well like he do his teammate? Jeff giving him a lot of space and tries to hold around the outside. He does. Brilliant racing from the pair of them, but it's Wayne up in the P2 now. Good racing from the both, but just a little bit more grip from Wayne. And he's up in the P2, sets after the race leader of Edgar, who's been streaking away all this time.
Yeah, it's a decent gap to catch up now with a good 5-second gap. Meanwhile, I don't know if we got it, but Ramisco is past Shaqiri, further back down the field.
We caught that last lap. It was a good move in the middle sector to the part that Wayne and J-Leb are actually going through right now. It was a very good move. Very brave. Very committed. Not much going on yet as we wait for probably the first round of pit stops or a mistake. A lot of the gaps have opened up to over a second. Watching the closest battle on field now. We'll check in with our race leader. Edgar, just as smooth as you like, just chilling up here in the lead. Oh, yellow in sector 1, that's a spin. Looks like low. He's going again.
Oh, and safety car.
Oh, it's a safety car. And it's a safety car for a brief spin from low, and the full safety car has been brought out for that.
Oh, he's lost his wing. He's lost his full wing.
Oh, he has.
In that incident.
I think he's had the spin that Boothie didn't qualify, but ended off much worse than he did.
Yes, definitely. So, half the grid about-ish. Yeah, half pit and half don't.
And that'll really shaft Edgar here as we've seen Wayne flying through the field. Has got back into second. Lowe gets a drive-through. Nothing's going right for him today.
Interesting there from Shaqiri. He's gone on to the intermediate tyres here.
The rain was forecasted to not lighten up until the end of the race. That's a very interesting pit strategy. I don't think the inters will be good for these conditions.
Well, I don't think it's going to be into conditions, to be honest, for the entire race. But I suppose it's a bold strategy move, but it could pay off. But if I'm being honest, I just think there's too much standing water for intermediates at the moment.
It's a bold move, but is it calculated? That's what we want to find out. We'll see its pace come the safety car restart. I don't think it's time just yet. It might be a bit too early. And Edgar has been severely hampered by this safety car, I will say that much. He did a lot of work to build that gap to over 5 seconds from P2, and it's all been undone. Tire wear is high here. I'm surprised I haven't seen more than one person box. We only saw a low box so far. Kind of just shows on the safety car as we wait. And yep, there we go. J-Leb's into the pits, I believe. He is indeed. He's boxing. So does Constant Jet. Does Zola follow his teammate? No, he doesn't. Anyone else follow them into the box? Shikari does get off those inters. Smart move. Boothy's already boxed, and I think the only ones left to box yet are actually Constant Jet, who's in the pits now, and Edgar and Wayne are the only ones yet to box.
I suppose I think Wayne will have just followed what Edgar was going to do, because otherwise I feel like he was worried he'll lose too much time against the leader.
And Shikari's gotten back to the inters. He's put on another set of inter tires. Maybe it's a visual bug, but I don't believe it is. As I've seen green-walled tires from him, it is, in fact, Inter tires. The rain does not look to have slowed down, so by majority it does look like wets are still the play here. But Edgar and Wayne, a bit interesting, have not boxed yet. The only drivers left to have not boxed at all. What would you do, Matic? What would you do in these conditions? Would you box? Would you stay out? What's your plan here?
I suppose it depend on what the tyre wear's at, really. I think if I was Edgar or Wayne, I think I'd be worried, especially with irons now in P3. I think I'd just be that little bit worried that now irons has got the fresher tyres, that he's gonna possibly get a better restart. But I suppose Wayne and Edgar feel like their tyres are good enough to fight. But I definitely think it's a bold strategy called by Shaqiri there.
Yeah, no, that's not inter-weather at all, by the looks of it. You might have just thrown away a chance of good points. Shikari, only time will tell.
Too many puddles, I think, around the track for the Inter tyres.
Too much standing water. He'll find traction very difficult. Might even fall behind Lowe. I don't even know if Lowe can catch up to the back of the pack. He's got that drive-through, I think, still, for speeding under safety car.
Be interesting though, because I'm surprised after Shaqiri decided he's going to go on to the intermediate tyres, he has then gone off. He's then gone and pitted again for another pair of the intermediate tyres.
Yeah, it's a very interesting strategy play, but we're not the driver. We have no idea what his plan is, only he does.
Well, exactly.
Well, safety car should be in this lap. It should be going in soon. This is about the third lap it's been out. And
yeah.
Is it called in here? There
yes.
It is. It's called in. Everything slows down. We'll be going green by this timing line. Just wait for it to get the restart. They'll be immediately under threat from irons on those fresh, wet tires. And we'll see if it is truly as big of an undercut as I think it is. And it looks like he's going. He is in fact gone. He's gone. Not the best of jumps away from Wayne, but it's just about scoots to 4/10 of a second. I don't think the slipstream will be doing Wayne any favors. I don't think he'll get him on the brakes. Closes up to the back of him. Almost into the back of him. And that's irons through into P2. Don't know if there was contact. And Mixo jumps up to P4. Has Zola. Mercedes moving ever so backwards. Looks down the inside of Wayne. Can he hold it into the inside? Wayne's been very strong around the outside, but he can't do it now on those old tires. Wayne is dropping like a rock back here, and Irons goes side by side. He gets in a straight line. Irons immediately up into P1, and that just shows the strength of that undercut. Already up into P1. Mixo is now going to put Edgar on threat and burners now. We'll see if Edgar has any sort of pace to hold it in those tires. But oh my, the undercut is ever so strong here. Further behind, the Mercedes have dropped back to P5 and P6. Luke, after that drive-through, finds himself back in P7. Good points if he can finish there. Lowe still just trying to catch up with the back of the pack, and everything else going wide there, Boothie. Shikari on this Inters is actually still holding up with some of the weather drivers, and that's Wayne Binspa, and into the back of him. Into the back of him goes Zola. I think there was a bit of a tap from J-Leb there, and Wayne, when it rains, it pours here in Hungary. And oh my, it just keeps getting worse. He just can't stop getting tagged, and he's all the way down to P9 on those old wets. It's just about time to think about boxing for Wayne. He'll be hoping for another safety car to save his chances. Maybe we'll
He's
see at the end of the race.
lucky it doesn't look like he's got any damage at all.
As Rex looks down the inside of Edgar, I think he's got it done. So pardon me, Mantic just had to come on that real quick, and he's fully through.
So right, and yeah, as you think it said, Wayne goes into the box. Boofy also actually goes for the same strategy as Shaqiri and pits for the intermediate tyres, but Wayne clearly thinking it's not going to work and pits for a fresh set of the wet compound.
It is still heavy rain. I don't think it's inter-tire just yet.
No, and Shaqiri looks like he's losing a lot of time from Zola as well.
Yeah, it's too early. They're gonna find a lot of struggles here, especially with the aquaplaning. But I think everything kind of teeters out again. It's Irons in the lead from Remixo now. I was like, how has everything flipped up on its head like this? Irons for the first time since Mexico is leading very dominantly now. Just needs to keep out of those track limit violations, and he should have it by the looks of how this race is panning out. Wayne has essentially been eliminated as a threat to the win of this race. Edgar still needs to box. I think he's waiting for a safety car. And Boothie gets passed by Wayne behind, maybe in a straight line. It would seem into a braking zone actually. But those inters are not the play. And I think Jeff is lining up Edgar here soon for a move.
Yeah, definitely catching up quite a bit. And
Boothie gets a track limit penalty.
yep, so the first person for a penalty is Boofy. This is his second penalty of the race. Obviously with the thing at the start, although it looks like Constant Jet, just having a look through the race director, is also on 2 track limit violations, so he can't risk another one. Edgar also with 1. Shaqiri and Jeff also on 1, and it looks like Boofy has got 3 track limit warnings in the exact same lap, all on lap number 11.
Yeah, those inters really are not working. We saw him spin on that a second ago. He spun on those inters while you were reading off the race director. The inters just are not working for him.
No, and it doesn't look like they're working for Shaqiri either. Now over 2 seconds behind Zola, when at one point I believe he was only about half a second behind. Now they just seem to be gaining again.
Oh, and Edgar goes wide. I think Justin will look for a move here. He pulls to the inside. He's got that battery on. He's looking for it. Can he pull alongside of him into a slipstream? Is it strong enough? He has to get him on the brake if he wants to get it done, but he brakes early, lets him have it, doesn't want to risk punting him. Still lined up. I think Wayne goes a bit wide. I think Jeff should have the traction, and he's onto the grass. Nearly loses the car. Jeff onto the grass, keeps it pointing the right direction though. Good save. Good driver awareness from Jeff there. I'll tell you what, making a move is so difficult here, especially with the braking. These drivers find it especially difficult. Wayne sets the fastest lap as he starts setting his sights after climbing back towards the top 5 places. It's the yellow in Sector 1. That is the Alpine, a Constant Jet, who spun it into turn 2. Gets going again. No damage, no debris, no safety car.
Jeff catching back up again.
Just look at Irons, 7 seconds away from P2. He's done what he's needed. I think Jeff is still looking for the move. He's going to have to get it on the brakes somewhere, maybe force him into an error, but without the help of DRS, he's going to have to be brave here, Jeff.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to wait for Edgar to... I suppose he's going to I hope he puts so much pressure on that Edgar then makes a mistake trying to get that bit extra speed out of a corner.
Tell you what
Allowing him to
will help
pass.
Jeff too. What helped Jeff too is those tires are so much older than Jeff's, and they're only getting worse as time gets on. Edgar needs to box soon. I think the pit window was around lap 17, and he's gone wide again there. Jeff is all over the gearbox of him. We can practically look straight down the exhaust pipe and see it. And he gets that switchback on Edgar. Do we have that traction out? Trying to control the car. Very close there. Very aggressive from Edgar. Just about gives him enough space. It's perfectly judged from Edgar. Maybe he might have spooked Jeff off of the throttle just a little bit. Edgar's defending this very well for nearly double the tire age of Jeff. It just shows the skill that he has. And Jeff just getting the run on him no matter where they go. He's always there. Edgar cannot find the pace to pull away, and Zola's going to slowly creep up to the back of them as well at this rate.
Yeah, meanwhile Wayne has got past Low down at the back and is also catching Constant Jet at quite the rate of knots at the minute, it seems.
And Jeff looks down the inside of here. It's not the move you see. He's going very deep. He shoves him just a small bit wide. A little bit of contact. Jeff holds on. He gets it done into an unorthodox place. P3 for Jeff. He moves up. And I think it's time for Edgar to start thinking about boxing, but he still holds on with those dying tires. Brilliant move from Jeff. Maybe a bit aggressive, but that's what you need to do in the wet conditions here. He gets it done up into P3, sets his sights after Remixo into P2.
And Wayne is also now past Constant.
14 seconds off the back of Shikari, though he's got some work to do.
Yeah. Well, overall from the leader, he is currently 37.8 seconds behind the leader. I think it's gonna need to be another safety car here for Wayne if he wants a chance, or one hell of a comeback drive over the next 21 laps.
If we're talking about comeback drives, Iron started P10. He was in the lead by lap 11. That was an insane comeback drive from him so far. Not even a third into the race, he's already back in the lead. That shows why he's leading this championship even without a race. He's got that speed and a bit of consistency in him. He might find his first win of the season here.
Looks like there could be a decent battle here between, from P2 down to P5 with only about 5 seconds separating them all, it seems, at the minute.
I'll tell you what, don't count out Wayne. He's caught Shikari 5 seconds in this one lap, and there comes the track penalties as they're going to start trickling in. Constant gets one. It's a 3 second for track limit violations as Jaleb looks to the back of Remixo. He's all over him now. Looking for a move, pulls to the inside. Remixo maybe low on battery. Jaleb gets it easy, no contest in a straight line. Cuts back to the racing line, and that is move done, job done.
Yeah, no, Remixo has 100% battery, just clearly thought it's not a battle that is to be fought. Meanwhile, for P8, it looks like Low and Constant. Low is all over the back of Constant Jet and could probably get the move done on the straight, quite possibly.
A bit questionable from Remixo considering they are on the same tire life, same tire strategy. It might have been worth fighting that a little bit more, but who knows what he's got planned. And Low is just cruising up to the back of Constant Jet with a bit older tires too. Still not much going on there though yet. As we cut to our race leader Irons, he's done all he's needed to do from starting P10 on the grid. Halfway into this race, next lap, and wide there, but he's been doing well.
Low is more or less on the back of Constant Jet, probably can see the inside of his car from that close. I reckon he's probably going to get the move done this lap, if not definitely very shortly anyway.
Boothie gets another time penalty. He's been struggling this race.
Mm.
Be one to forget for him. And I think Lowe's going to be making a move on Constant Jet soon.
To be honest,
We'll
I
be
wouldn't
watching
be surprised if Boothie comes in for a pair of new wet tyres, because those intermediates just seem to be causing him lots of problems. Meanwhile, Wayne gets past Shaqiri through the last corner.
That came from out of nowhere.
Yeah, it looked like Shaqiri lost it. Oh, and he's tapped him, and Shaqiri 3 seconds for track limit warnings.
He straddled that outside curb.
He lost the grip. Sorry.
Jet goes into the pits, and Shikari, we saw him straddle that curb and lock up completely. Remixo's gone wide and let Edgar and Zola through. Remixo have been very wide into the second sector, and that lets Edgar and Zola through now into P3 and P4.
Yeah, with Shaqiri, it looked like through the last corner, he kind of didn't get the grip on the exit, whereas Wayne seemed to just get all the quite a lot more grip through the last corner, so he was easily able to pass him when it was coming to getting up to speed on the straight.
And on top of his woes, Remixo gets a 3-second time penalty for track limit violations as well.
Yeah, they're
a horrible lap for him.
Yeah, these time penalties coming through thick and fast now.
We expected this to be a race of attrition at the start, with the amount of people that like to take this a little bit too much out of Hungary. A lot of corners, a lot of chances to take a bit too much. And we've have 4 out of the 10 drivers with track limit penalties now of some sort. Booth with 2 track limit penalties. Actually, Shikari goes into the box. And all the gaps opened up to over a second between each other. Closest gap is Remixo and Zola, who were spectating.
I reckon Wayne in maybe a few laps time will be catching up to the back of Ramisco as Shaqiri pits and puts on wets.
Remixo spun in the same place again, and that's going to put him under threat from Wayne very soon. He's been struggling at that corner so far. I'll take a look at the Wayne in his mirrors. Closing up to the back of him very soon. And just very dismal for some drivers here. They've had a very tough time in the wet. Remixo's one of them. Just can't find his rhythm again after making that mistake, and Wayne is going to close in within a second now. He'll be planning this move out very soon. And he's already on the gearbox. I think he's going to let him through, and he does. Remixo goes off track. He's going into the box. I think he is, and that's Wayne back up in the P5.
Yeah,
and then sort of just chilling out.
Yeah, Wayne's gained about 8 seconds in since the last time I've checked for him, from him to the leader. His advantage, obviously, as well now being he has newer tyres than Irons up front. Obviously, with Irons pitting under the first safety car, which I reckon Irons is probably going to need to pit again this race.
Yep, probably. I think we're going to see all the top 4 pitting again this race. It's just a matter of when. They will need a bit of laps to get by Wayne, but you don't want to pit at the wrong time and the safety car screws you over.
Yeah, although
to the lowest point possible.
Yeah, although I reckon Wayne with 8 lap all tyres as well might also need to pit himself again before the end of the race. But with Ramisco now 21 seconds behind, it's not too much longer, and Wayne will have a free pit stop from the person behind. But obviously Ramisco gaining time with a fresh set of wet tyres currently on that car.
I think he does. Wayne does need a box again, actually. And yeah, as you're saying, he will probably get undercut by Remixo unless he does it soon. Wayne is closing up to the back of Zola now. He's very rapid in wet conditions. I think everything's kind of just relaxed now. There's not much tension going on, just waiting for some sort of action to happen.
Well, I don't think it's going to be long until Wayne and Zola are having a battle, with Wayne gaining what looks to be almost half a second through more or less one corner. And Zola's off. And well, that was a bit of an anticlimactic.
Yep. As we see Logo into the box, that was a bit of a tease, let's say, from the Zola-Wayne battle, and Zola's gone off track, and that's Wayne up into P4. Yep, 8 seconds off the back of Edgar. I think they'll be stopping soon. Edgar still hasn't stopped in this race at all. I don't know what his plan is, but even if he tries a no-stop, I don't think it'll work.
No, no, I very doubt that's going to work.
I think his tires will probably hit their blow point before they reach the no-stop completion territory. As Wayne sets his sights off and after Edgar on those aging tires. I think we'll see a catching rate that is very similar to the ones we've been seeing so far. We're on board with the hard charging Wayne right now. "14 laps left to go."
Zola seems to really be struggling on them tyres. I definitely think he's going to have to come into the pit soon. Meanwhile, that's... Who's that? That's spun around.
It's constant spun. Spun with Verstappen, spun 22. He's lost the front, he's lost an end plate, and he goes into the pits again. Front wing damage, no safety car's been thrown.
Not the best race, it seems, for the Alpines so far.
And a Logan to the constant in the pits. Yep. The latter end of the points have been a bit shuffled at times. But yet again, another gamble. I think the rain has actually slowed down a bit. By the looks of it, does look like it's slowed down, but there's still a lot of puddles on the track. I don't know if it's time yet, or Inter's not quite time.
No, but then I suppose Constant's got theoretically really got nothing to lose, being that 15 seconds off Boofy and being about 17 seconds off Lowe, who then is 35 seconds behind Shaqiri. There's not really much of a risk for Constant there.
Just trying to pick up any points he can for his team. I wonder what type of implications this is going to have in the championship. Way in P4, Irons is going to streak even further off with the lead of the championship. I think this might go down to the final race. I don't think he can close out the championship until the final race in Las Vegas. But for now, he's going to extend his gap with the ways things finish now. Wayne he's caught Edgar about 4 seconds in 2 laps. That's the same closing speed we've seen, but when does his tires hit their wall? And when does everyone else around him box and he becomes the hunted instead? As Boothie and Lowe are looking at their final notes. Lowe back into the pits again, maybe with front wing damage of some sorts. But this has been a bit rough for the drivers here. And he goes to Inter, so it's looking like we're in the transfer window. Looking like it might be Inter time.
Yeah, I reckon we could see the rest of the drivers possibly soon pitting because there was definitely no wing damage on that Williams, so definitely think it's drivers are starting to think it's time for the intermediate tyres. Zola pits. What does Zola go on to?
I'll take a look. It swings into the pit. I think it's Inters. It is Inters. He's going for it. Nope. It's another set of wets. He's going for
Interesting.
wets again. We're seeing a lot of mixing strategies right now. But what are the Inters pacing relative as Shikari got past Zola in the pits?
Not going to take much for Zola to get past though, I think. Although to be fair, Shaqiri's tyre is only 5 laps old, but I think Zola's probably going to have the pace to be able to catch up quite quickly once his tyres have warmed up.
He's about to break within a second already, and he has done so. He's already within a second of Shikari. Irons has gone to the pits. We'll see what he goes to soon.
Ramisco
Slowly
penalty.
Still getting back regular. And Irons has gone to the Inters. Irons has gone to the Inter tires. Gets undercut by J-Leb. And Shikari goes streaking off the track. Holy. And he comes back on. But maybe that was a bit of a drastic let through, if that was what he intended. I don't believe he intended to let Zola back in that fashion.
No. If I'm being honest, I thought Zola was going into the
and Edgar's
pits.
off the track. Edgar's off the track, into the wall, no damage at the exit of turn 1.
Wayne's
gone to the
intermediate
pits.
tyres.
Edgar's really struggling with those tires now. I think he's attempting that no stop. He would have boxed by now if he attempted to go to the Inters. Seeing what he can do with it. Hasn't got any penalties. But Irons has already got out ahead of him, so the win is off the cards for Edgar. Just did not have the pace. What can Irons do on those intermediates? Does he start setting fastest laps? If he starts setting fast laps on those Inters, then you'll know it's time.
Shaqiri back in the pits to go on another set of intermediates. So what are the current penalties? As it stands, Boothie has 9 seconds. Shaqiri and Constant both on 3, and Ramisco now is on 6.
Surprised we haven't seen any more.
No.
A little more penalties, as majority of the drivers are now swapping to Inters. Looks like we're well in the transfer window now. Iron just going for a fast slap attempt. He's got his battery deployed. He's got nothing else better to do. He's going to go for it. We'll see what type of pace he's got. See if he sets any purple sectors, and we'll know. We'll know if it's inter-weather time.
Ramisco pits. And Zola pits. Zola with a unfortunate, but it seems like it was a bad strategy call there. Assume go on to the intermediates, yes.
And I'll tell you what, Edgar's just a box to a new set of wets, and Irons is up by half a second on his time. It is fully interweather time. Edgar's made another strategy blunder here. That long stretch on those wets, and now the wrong tire choice when he does decide to pit. It's not going well for him in the strategy department. We'll see what Irons is posting up into the end of Sector 2, and he is 1.2 seconds in the green. He is flying on those new Inters now. Going to the fastest lap we've seen all Grand Prix. Coming to the line. I think he's out of the 30s, maybe potentially. No, he's not, but it's close enough. Into the 33s, it would seem. That's a glitch, but there we go. 33 dead, 33 flat. 4 irons, fastest lap we've seen so far. low onto the back of Constant Jet still. Within a second, we're going to look for a move here soon.
Wayne goes fastest overall, 1:32.1.
Yep, about a second quicker than Irons, but Irons is 18 seconds in the lead. He'll need more pace than that if Wayne wants to win.
Although Irons has left the session, meaning his car now goes into AI, which means Irons is going to be able to catch quite a considerable amount this lap, I reckon, because the AI does tend to drive slower. Meanwhile, it looks like Jeff just lets Wayne past. Wasn't much of a fight there, and Lowe is past Constant Jet. But yeah, if you look, Wayne is catching up quite a bit to Irons here, and I think if Irons doesn't get back in, it could end up being quite a close finish to this race.
I'm sure yep, there he is. So I'd say he'll get back in as fast as he can. It's the first time he's been leading without any penalties to his name by that big of a margin. I'm sure he wants that first one of the season. He needs that upturn in luck. He's had it rough so far.
Meanwhile, at the back, Boofy and Constant Jet are going for it through down the second straight, and Boofy's going to go round. Is he going to be able to get the grip level though to get past? Yes, but there's a bit of contact and he shoves Constant wide. And Boofy, another 3-second time penalty as well. That pushes him up to 12 seconds worth of penalties. To be honest,
and he's off the track. He's off the track. Oh my!
He's probably going to be getting another track limits for that. Put it that way. It's not a great race for Boofy.
It's looking more like rally cross for him here. Oh, and very squirrel at these guys in the back. Constant nearly lost a car. Bootsy sliding. They're all over the place in the back of the pack here. They don't want to trigger a safety car yet. That would probably make Irons a bit bitter by the end of this race.
I reckon somewhere we will see more time penalties will be Qatar. If the drivers in real life are going to get them dished out as much as as much as they did, I reckon there's going to be a lot of time penalties coming for our race in Qatar later this season.
Yeah. Of course, this is the final race before the 1 month break. We'll have a pit stop after the 1 week break we had last time out. Next two, it'll take a nice break for everybody here, but what a bit of a dull finish to the first stint of the season, I'll say. It's been a lot of close calls, but not much drastic or dramatic action here. We'll jump on board with Boofy as he chases after Lowe, and he's been struggling a lot here. Let's see if he can just get to the back of Lowe, pick up some more points, just to finish off strong. He's with about 9 seconds of penalties. Maybe a bit of a confidence boost if he can get by Lowe into P8. Around 7 laps left to go. We're coming to the final closing stages of the race. Irons has put on a world star performance, or an all-star performance, I should say. 16 seconds in the lead after starting P10. He was into the lead before lap 12 even. It's been absolutely a rocket ship today, and Booth is looking for the move on Lowe, gets him in a straight line. Not much Lowe can do about it. Into the braking zone. He's looking around the outside though, but no grip out there, and that's Boothie into P8. I believe he is. He holds it.
Yes, P8, but almost last, I believe. Although Constant, is he on 3 or 6? Constant's on 3, so theoretically.
Constant's the last.
Yeah. Although I think Boofy is now ninth because I think he's got enough of a gap that even with his
Yeah, he needs
12
to be.
seconds.
Constant needs to be 6 seconds within P8 if he wants to get Boothie on penalties.
Well, Boofy's on 12, so it would be 9 seconds.
Oh, he's on 12. I thought he was on 9. Excuse me then. Yep, he needs to be within a 9. He's about a
But
second away.
yeah, I don't think Constant's going to be within enough of Boofy anyway, to be honest. And that's Edgar with his first 3 seconds of the day, I believe. Yes.
Yep. We saw a bit of a questionable strategy choice from him tonight.
Yeah, I reckon it's now the wet tyres are the tyres that are going to be giving you track limits penalties because you're not finding the correct grip.
We'll be finding a boatload of understeer. That's fitting. We'll be driving a Titanic in these conditions, essentially.
Yes. It is more like a boat race, to be fair, out there today.
I think everything's coming to a close now. Not many moves happening except for maybe Low and Boothie, but I think that's already been technically decided with the penalties to be applied. Unless Low cuts like the entirety of the third sector, I don't think he'll be finishing behind Boothie. Oh, and Boothie's wide. He might open up the door a little bit for Low. Oh, nope. Boothie's still with a good enough exit. We'll jump to the front of the grid as we wait for what's irons to come to an end. I think he's still trying to go for a fastest lap, maybe. Trying to claim it off the hands of Wayne.
This is going to make it a bit closer at the, especially with obviously Shaqiri in the points as well. The constructors is going to definitely become quite interesting as well. With Ferrari being on 190 at the moment.
Oh, and in the wall, Boothie's in the wall. It's a full safety car.
Oh, that's going to change. I think the whole dynamic for the rest of the race there.
If Irons loses this race, he is going to blow a head gasket, I'll tell you that much. The second time where safety cars may potentially screw him over. He has a pit stop gap, he'll box right instead of into it, so it's a smart thing to do. It's all about what do the people behind him do though. Wayne has left the session, he's been DC'd. It looks like he's been disconnected. He'll be joining back. Let's hope he can join back before he gets towards the pit so we can make that pit stop. If he does decide to do so.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've lost my game volume as well, actually. But
that's a game bug. I had that next in A. Release your game volume middle of the race. All Paul release the next lap is what that means. It's a bug that happened in XNA on Wednesday.
Oh, and Boofy with no wing.
Yeah, he completely lost his front wing in turn 1.
I suppose I'm surprised, if I'm being honest, that we still have all 10 runners with us. We've not had a single DNF so far this race.
Let's hope if I lose my game volume doesn't cut on stream, but I think it will, and oh my lord. Boothie with that front wing down, trying to get back the pits as fast as he can. It's all over the road. Has Wayne joined back yet? Is it still his AI trundling around?
I believe it's his AI trundling around, especially looking at the inputs. They don't look particularly like Wayne.
And Wayne doesn't box, Irons does.
Well, I don't think Wayne's had a choice here, to be honest. I think it's just whatever his game has decided to do, but Wayne gets back in, but I think he could be screwed over here by the fact that Irons has pitted, he hasn't, and he's going to have 8 lap old. Oh, and Shaqiri speeding under the safety car has a drive-through penalty, and Boofy has retired in the pit lane, so that will be a quali ban for the next race, unless obviously there's a legitimate reason behind the retirement in the pit lane.
That seems a bit of a waste. There's only 4 laps to go. He could just closed out the race. Oh, it looks like he got disconnected because he's joined back. He might have gotten disconnected rather than fully retired.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm sure it said retired. Well, it's definitely fully retired. But what will be interesting on the restart here, though, is Lowe is currently between, with Lowe being the lapped car, is currently between Wayne and Irons, which means if Lowe doesn't clear quickly, Irons is going to have to get past him as quickly as he can. Otherwise, although it looks like Wayne's let Lowe go past anyway, so I believe he's being allowed. I believe Lowe is being allowed to unlap himself. Is probably what has happened there. But I imagine we'll get going again. Lap 30, end of 33. I imagine. So we've got 2 full laps of racing at the end of this race.
Lap. It has to be next lap. You cannot have a safety car until lap 34, and Wayne decides to box. He still has that pit stop gap to J-Web, but we'll see in 28 seconds.
Yeah, I suppose he's not going to lose any positions by pitching here. So, in a way, I suppose it's kind of a no-brainer, really.
The safety car comes in at the end of this lap. He needs to push as hard as he can. He wants to get back to the back of Irons.
I'm sure he'll manage that. The only thing is now he's going to have constant jet, I believe that is, or Ramisco. I believe constant jet is now going to be between Wayne and Irons.
I think that's okay. I think they'll just throw a blue flag immediately, and
oh yeah,
they'll just get out the way.
They're going to have to get out the way, otherwise it's probably going to be. Well, they'll get a penalty otherwise, but I'm sure it will be resolved quickly anyway. So I wonder, has Iron or Wayne's, have either of them got track limits penalties? Because if they do, that could change the dynamic.
Check for warnings.
Let's have a look. Irons has 1 warning. Irons is on 1. Yep, Irons is just on the 1. And actually, I'm not sure if we got it or missed it, but Shaqiri also got another 3-second time penalty after receiving his drive-through penalty as well. So I believe he's now on it. It'll be, I think it's 9 seconds of penalties and the drive-through to serve. It's not gone well.
I'm getting ready to go again. We'll see when Iron goes. 2 laps to the finish.
It's going to be a very interesting finish.
Both on new tires. It's all about who's got the pace.
Well, I reckon we could see a 5-way fight here between the top 5, maybe even, well, I suppose with Edgar with the penalty, I reckon we could see the top 4 here battling for the win.
Irons is gone, he's set off, and he hasn't got the jump he needed. But Wayne does not have the slipstream to get by, but very more tucked onto the apex. And he's looking for it now. Actually, Wayne's looking down the inside. Irons goes defensive, tries to squeeze him to it. Good defending, parks his car in the middle of the corner. Wayne can't find a way through. He's going to be under threat from J-Leb, who's gone off the track, I believe, just a small bit. Under threat from Edgar now behind. But Wayne's going to look for a move. Irons has 1 more lap to hold him off. He can use a bit of that track. He's got 1 more warning. He can use Remixo, gets a time penalty. They'll come down to it.
It looks like though Irons is managing to keep the gap around zero point 0.8 seconds so far towards the end of this lap.
One more lap to do it. Can Wayne get by?
I think it's going to take a mistake from Irons here, or 2 more track limits for Wayne to win here, I think.
Yeah, he's not within the slipstream distance. He's pulled out within a second. He can't get them if your Irons at fastest lap.
Yeah, and on that lap, Wayne was 0.7 seconds slower than Irons, so unless he can find some pace, I don't think he's going to manage it. He's drained his battery as well, now only at 22%, and he's still going through the battery.
Yeah, he's not. Oh, and Irons off the track. He's straddled the curb. And he's down to second. Oh no. Irons. Oh no, Irons. Oh no.
Well, as I said, it was going to take him I thought it was going to take a mistake, and I might have put the commentator's curse there on Irons.
Irons is Irons every lap but the final one. He's down to P2. I don't think he'll get him now. There's no overtaking opportunities left. It looks like it's going to be Wayne's to lose. Wayne up in the P1 now.
And it looked like Irons, I think, probably went over track limits there on the thing before. Someone off in Sect 2, but that's been rectified.
And that's Wayne coming around the final quarter, and he will take it here at Hungary. Wayne wins in Hungary, round 12. He'll close the gap to Irons, and he takes the fastest lap for extra measure. Irons, oh no.
An unfortunate end there.
Still goes without his win.
And that's Shaqiri with another track limit penalty, but he's not been able to serve his drive-through, so he's also going to get a heavy penalty at the end of this race. With obviously, I believe it's a 20-second penalty added at the end if you don't serve your drive-through.
I think Irons will be sorely disappointed with that. He might be a bit heated under the helmet, as they say.
Yeah, well, having a look as well, it seems Boothie and Edgar both reporting that they lost the sound at some point in the race as well, quite possibly at a similar time to when I lost it as well.
What happened to me in XNA?
Yeah, it's another one of the many glitches currently that's in the game.
Wow, that's how it shakes out again. Irons, the most unlucky driver in all of this league. I mean, I keep saying that. It's just been miserable for him.
That's a really, really unlucky finish there for Irons. Led, quite frankly, most of this race, and it all goes wrong on the final lap.
And the worst part is it was a self-brought-on mistake too, just an unforced error.
Yeah. So, yeah, and
He'll be
Shaqiri
annoyed with himself.
Yeah, and Shaqiri finishes there with 29 seconds of penalties, which is.
Ooh, that might be a disqualification. No.
I don't
20 seconds.
Oh, is it more than 20? I can't
I'm pretty
really
sure more
remember.
than 20 seconds XRL disqualifies you if you have more than 20 seconds of penalties.
Yeah, I know it's at a certain limit, but I definitely think 29 seconds is probably over that limit, I imagine.
But Wayne closes the gap up to Irons in the championship. Oh, Irons, he'll be annoyed with himself after that, sorely annoyed with himself. But that's how everything shakes out for round 12. We have a 1 month break essentially. We don't race again until November 12th. What race is that going to be? Is that Abu Dhabi?
Abu Dhabi, yes.
Alright, Abu Dhabi, November 12th is when this will all kick back. Irons has a month to just marinate in that sore disappointment of that race right there. He'll be thinking about that for probably the rest of the day, if not more. That's how everything shakes out for round 11. No, for round 12. That everything shakes out for round 12. We will see you all next month. This time on November 12th, 12 p.m. EST. I don't know if you guys are switching to GMT in Britain yet for November, but it should still be 5 p.m. BST, maybe 6 p.m. GMT if you guys do change. But that is
Yeah.
it for this week. We will catch you all in November.